Do you remember the time that Frieza came to Earth looking for revenge after his body was mutilated by the Battle of Namek? And in this process, Frieza, King Cold, and his henchmen all lost their lives by a teenage kid with purple hair, a sword, and a bowl cut. Well, if you remember this, you remember the first time that Trunks appeared into the Dragon Ball series. And alrighty guys, it is Quaman here today giving you a Dragon Ball uncensored video. So without wasting any more time, let's get straight into this video. Okay guys, so let me just tell you the truth. This scene fucking cracks me up, guys. And the reason why I love this scene so much is because of the fact we immediately get a complete sense of mystery as all of Frieza's henchmen are scanning Trunks' power level as a 5. But the way Trunks takes out his henchmen so easy immediately indicates that he's way stronger than a power level of 5. And the cool thing about this, guys, is that when Trunks was killing all of Frieza's henchmen, the animation showed such an awesome sequence where the scene was turning black. You see like the sword slashes, and then after everything, all of his henchmen just fall to the ground like immediately, and there's that last henchman who's like scared for his life, and Frieza just does a fatality and finishes his ass. He just fucking kills him. So he kills them. Then he goes to talk to Trunks. So we always know that Frieza's like the most egotistical person, you know, or at least one of the most egotistical people in the Dragon Ball series so far. And he is obviously underestimating Trunks. And the thing that happens next after this, the kid who doesn't look very intimidating, just like the androids, he's very strong, but we don't necessarily understand where his power comes from, turns into a Super Saiyan. And the reason why this was such a groundbreaking thing is because of the fact that we'd never seen another Super Saiyan at this point in the series so far, besides Goku, of course. And obviously, the second question that you had in your head was, well, who the hell is this kid? I mean, the Saiyans were all wiped out. Like, where does this guy get his Super Saiyan power from? And when he turns into a Super Saiyan, I love the fact that you see Frieza. He looks into Trunks' face and he sees Goku. He sees the blonde hair. He sees the guy that fucked him up on planet Namek, and he's like, you know what? I'm fucked. You see that although Frieza's an egotistical bastard, he knows deep inside that he is up against something very strong. And he's shooting fireworks at him. He's like throwing this like planetary destroying blast, and Trunks just picks it up. He picks up the blast. It's like fucking, you know, like some fucking heavenly guy came down and just saves the earth. It looked like that, guys. It was just a fucking amazing sequence. And then just seeing Trunks just taking everything from Frieza and it not doing anything was awesome. And the thing that made this sequence so awesome to me, guys, is the fact that, as we've seen so far in the Dragon Ball series, Frieza's ego and Frieza getting caught off guard is one of the reasons why he's often lost in his fights. He lost his tail because he was caught off guard with Krillin. He got cut in half because he was fighting against Goku and he got cut by his own discs. You know, Frieza doesn't really focus as well as other villains should. And it happened once again. Trunks powers up with the games, and, you know, obviously the media afterwards would call his burning attack, shoots it at Frieza, jumps in the air, and cuts him in half. Episode ends. Now, I should say that the first episode that Trunks cut Frieza in half, the animation looked way better than what it would have looked like in the second episode where it looked all sloppy. But regardless of that, guys, the awesome sequence of Trunks cutting Frieza in fucking half is the fact that you see Frieza's little face. I mean, this thing is literally like, I am self-aware that I'm being cut in half. You can tell that Frieza was still alive after he was cut in half, because you can see like his vocals are like kind of fucking up as it's happening, and like he's like, his eyes are still tingling, so it's like Frieza's aware that he just got sliced in half. And then Trunks fucking turns this nigga into sandwich meat, bro. He turns this nigga into sandwich meat, just like and just blasts his ass. And Frieza fucking just like goes off, and I'm like, holy shit. And you see like all of the Z fighters and Dragon Team members, they're looking at this shit. They're like, what the fuck? Did this like dude just wipe out Frieza like this? And that kind of reminded me a lot of the filler sequence with Pikkon, where you see Pikkon coming out of nowhere just taking out Frieza and Cell. And Dragon Ball does this a lot, where they take a villain who used to be very powerful, and then the next character just literally makes the previous villain look like a joke. And that's exactly what happened to Frieza. And I just loved seeing that, and everybody's reaction as Trunks literally wiped out Frieza. So Frieza's dead. we get to King Cold. Now, I've done videos talking about, did King Cold know how to transform? And if King Cold could transform, Trunks would have been a joke in terms of power. I already made a video about that. I'm going to leave it for you guys in my outro. But King Cold is a sneaky guy. So he doesn't just get brash the way Frieza is. He's not just going straight after attacking Trunks right away. He immediately knows that he's fighting an uphill battle against Trunks. And, he asks to see Trunks' sword, and Trunks plays so alpha, bro. So this little 16-year-old kid is playing the ultimate alpha in this situation. He's like, sure, go ahead. He literally gives King Cold a sword because he's so confident in his own power that if he tried to kill him, fucking King Cold would die. So King Cold's like, I believe if it wasn't for this sword, you probably wouldn't have defeated my son. And in this whole process, King Cold is literally trying to get this mysterious kid to join him. And Trunks, just like we've seen before in Resurrection F, kind of, redid this scene over again. He turned it down just like Vegeta did against Frieza. So this Frieza's race, they always try to, I guess you could say, persuade you into coming to one of their own. Frieza did the same thing with Goku, how he was saying, you could be one of my top henchmen. And King Cold takes Trunks' sword, tries to stab him after Trunks turns him down. Trunks grabs his sword, and one thing I love about the English dub, guys, is I love that line where Trunks says, "It's not the sword that makes the man." And I love that sequence, guys, because it's like this little kid is playing so fucking alpha dog with King fucking Cold. He fucking grabs his own sword, blasts King Cold through the chest. You see all the blood and shit hitting on the wall, and then and then Trunks looks at him, and then King Cold's like, "Wait, please. You don't kill me, right? You won't kill me, please." And Trunks just fucking blasts his ass. I just love how Trunks didn't say shit. And just fucking blast him, and then he blows up his spaceship too. And I just love that sequence, guys. So, after Trunks made Frieza and King Cold look like a joke, we learned some revelations about, Trunks, obviously. The first thing we find out is about his dark future, and this was really interesting because this was the first time in the Dragon Ball series where, they introduced time travel into the show. So obviously this was a brand new concept, the whole Terminator-esque concept that Toriyama was inputting into his series, and seeing that and seeing how, everybody had died, even including Gohan, who at this point in the show was this little kid who had all this potential, and seeing how all of them had a negative sealed fate, seeing how Goku was going to die of a heart virus, seeing how Goku was so shocked to see Trunks, all of this stuff was crazy. And the interesting thing about all of this, guys, is what I loved about this whole sequence between Trunks explaining his future is him having that little sparring session against Goku, because this was cool to see two Super Saiyans literally interacting with each other for the first time, because we've never really seen two Super Saiyans before. And seeing how Goku, was having a little sparring session with Trunks and he was blocking all of his slashes with a finger, it was just awesome to see how much control Goku had gotten at this point in time and to see how impressed that Trunks was. So, although Trunks is giving this very dark message of the future, you get a sense of hope that if Goku trains along with the others, they could have a chance. But the bizarre thing about all of this, guys, is seeing how Trunks was the son of Bulma and Vegeta. Now, at this point in the series, Yamcha and Bulma were still together. They were having a rocky relationship. But it's so weird to put Vegeta and Bulma together. But when you think about it, Bulma is this rich, beautiful, young woman in the series, and Vegeta is this very strong prince. So, in a weird way, I can see where the attraction comes from, but they just have such dominant personalities, you would think it would be a horrible relationship. And at that point in the series, or at least soon in the series, it would be a rocky relationship. And seeing that and seeing how fucking Goku reacts to seeing Trunks being the son of Bulma and Vegeta, it was just awesome how Piccolo was spying on the conversation with his super hearing. And to me, guys, if there was one more thing I wanted to talk about the scene that really makes it one of my favorite moments in the Dragon Ball series, it would have to be the music. And I don't think there's ever been a point of the Dragon Ball series where the music was so great for both the dub and the Japanese. You know, the Japanese dub plays an amazing track called Battle Point Unlimited. I'm sure many of you guys have heard that song before, and the Battle Point Unlimited song is one of my favorite top 20 songs of all Dragon Ball music out there, and I really love that song. It's so fitting for that moment because it's like, it has a serious tone to it, but it has like an optimistic feel where like this kid has things under control, and I just love hearing that song for that sequence. And at the same time, the whole episodic Trunks song that goes dun 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 dun, and then, you know, seeing the Trunks just Trunks entering into the battle zone. You know, the dub Bruce Falconer soundtrack for Trunks is just awesome. So ultimately, guys, I would have to say that this is by far one of the highlights into the Dragon Ball series. I loved everything about it, the Trunks music, everything. This sequence was one of the best sequences of the entire Dragon Ball series. So let me know what you think in the comment section below about your first time hearing Trunks entering to the battle scene, killing Frieza and King Cold, being this fucking badass, and let me know what your thoughts. So with everything else said, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And remember, as I always say, to have a great day, guys.